Ruby is an organization that supports LGBTQ I2S youth through counseling and housing and also many practical supports. We operate a youth center at Queen Street East, where we have our drop-in and our counseling. And we also just opened our transitional house on Dundas and Pembroke.
Hello everyone, my name is Jamelia Parnell and I'm a youth journalist on behalf of Regent Park TV. Today we have a very special guest, so can you please introduce yourself to the audience and tell us about your organization?
Hi, great, thank you. My name is Lucy Gallo and my pronouns are they, them, and she, her, and I'm the Director of Youth Services and Housing at Friends of Ruby.
Can you tell us about Ruby and what was the inspiration for the name?
Ruby. A few years back, there was a young person who had many traumas and many struggles. And Ruby used to come to the space. And through time, this person would see Ruby and could only connect with Ruby and wasn't engaging or connecting with really other staff so much or other youth. But Ruby was a connecting point for this young person. And Ruby is, a very, Ruby, by the way, is a golden retriever who's very cuddly and loves to meet new people. And like I said, little by little, this person would want to connect with Ruby every day, ask for Ruby every day and only Ruby. And then as this young person continued to engage with Ruby, started to then move that engagement into our program and started to start counseling, would eat a meal and join more where the youth were and was not so separated from everyone else. And Ruby became a dog that was a part of our support at Friends of Ruby. So Friends of Ruby is about creating support. So she then started to connect with other folks. And when interviewed by youth and other staff, it became apparent that in general, Friends of Ruby is a place that comes and creates community. And through that, people chose to pick Friends of Ruby as the name.
Well, that's so heartwarming. This is making me want to meet like Ruby right now.
I'll let you meet her afterwards.
Yeah, it sounds so heartwarming. So can you tell us about how Friends of Ruby came to be? Like, what was the motivation for founding the organization and when did it all come together?
Sure. So Friends of Ruby was founded in 2014 by EGAL Canada, and Friends of Ruby's first name was EGAL Youth Services. And they are an organization that support LGBTQ I2S folks in Greater Toronto. And EGAL did a study that's called Not Under My Roof. That was a study to show the crisis of LGBTQ youth in homelessness due to family rejection, violence, and trauma. So this report made it clear that there was an urgency that our youth needed to have more shelter and care in Toronto. So then EGAL Canada moved to this initiative and the construction of the housing facility started at that time. And in 2015, EGAL partnered with Daniels Corporation Sustainable, and they, with the feedback, they then started to build our housing. And it was also in the support of the City of Toronto and Toronto Public Housing Corporation, as well as our founding donor, Ed Clark. We then secured the location to start. In 2019, we became an independent charity. In order to best support young people, we expanded our scopes and we prepared to open Friends of Ruby Home, which we opened our doors just this December 2020.
Wow, that sounds great. So what particular challenges do LGBTQ2IS youth face?
Yeah, LGBTQI2S youth continue to face high rates of family rejection, as I mentioned, and violence and trauma. Mental health and housing services we've tailored specifically to our community versus having just mental health supports in general. Um, and especially now, there's been, due to the pandemic, there's been an increase of our community struggling through this pandemic. Also, through the work that we do, we recognize that our Black and Indigenous and people of color within our LGBT community have been particularly affected, their mental health and physical health and even financial setbacks. Yes, so we now, Friends of Ruby Home is uniquely suited to help LGBTQ youth during these times due to one-of-a-kind mental health approach, which supports young people on every step of the way towards their independence. That's our model right now for our housing.
That's great. For those who might not know what the acronym LGBTQ plus means, what might it mean to them?
Sure. It's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, intersex, and two-spirited.
Awesome. So you were touching on the buildings earlier. So we were just wondering, how did you acquire the new building on Dundas Street?
This site was supported by the City of Toronto and Toronto Community Corporation.
That's great. And the designing now, this is a really important aspect of the building. How did you guys come up with the design? What are some specific features of the building? Just tell us all about the design.
Sure. It's a very innovative design, which brought together the heritage building from 1870s, and then was an apartment building from the 1970s. And then it came to life through a partnership with Daniels Sustainable and Yabu Pershaberg, who designed the interior. The look and feeling of the building grew from consultation actually from the LGBTQ I2S youth community, and all the feedback was taken into account. And mostly to them, the facility, they wanted to have it to be, it welcoming and a place that they could feel like it was home. And they were involved with, the consultation on what they would like. And some of it was having your own room, but also having, common spaces that folks could come together to build community, which is what I believe Friends of Ruby we stand for.
What programs are available at the Friends of Ruby Home?
At the Friends of Ruby Home, we have many programs, and we're focusing on aspects on developing independence. So focusing on cooking, financial literacy, professional mentorship, as well as mental health programming, physical health services, crisis intervention. Counseling is a big part of our program, and physical activity. So we like to look at all aspects of a person. So that's how we are sort of gear all of our programming.
That's great. So how many youth can access the facility at one time?
33 youth.
Wow, that's a huge number.
33 youth, and 2 of our units are couples units. We have 5 accessible units, and we have 5 emergency beds, and the rest are transitional rooms.
Yeah. So how do youth access the programs or the facilities? Where would they need to go?
So they can go to our friendsofruby.ca, like our website, and they fill out an application, which is currently closed at the moment. However, we do provide ongoing housing support and practical supports through our youth center. Some folks, just come in and do a registration and then do an intake and access our counseling and case management. Our drop-in just is low barrier. Folks just can come in and access food, computer, bathroom, phone, and we have case management support. And if they're needing extra supports, then they need to do an intake. If anyone wants to learn more about our programs and services or ways that we of supporting Friends of Rubies and our activities, is to visit friendsofruby.ca, or folks can send an email to info@friendsofruby.ca.
Sounds great. So thank you to everyone for tuning in and listening to Friends of Ruby Speak. So if you'd like to catch any of our other episodes, you can go on our website, regentpark.com, and you can check out our YouTube channel, which is Regent Park TV. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you Friends of Ruby for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It was great meeting you. Bye-bye.
Please do not forget to like, comment, and share to our channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms, and for more information, please check out our website.